Chapter 10. The doctor entered the waiting room sometime later, and Ken instantly jumped to his feet. "Is he all right?" Ken asked, his voice trembling. "He is stable," the doctor spoke seriously. "He's overdosed on illegal drugs. His heart was beating too fast, and in the end, failed. We almost lost him." Ken's hand went to his mouth. He lowered his hand slowly. "Is he all right now?" he asked tentatively. "Can I go see him?" "Yes," the doctor said, "if you'd like to follow me." Ken scratched his itching palms as he followed after the doctor, walking at a casual pace. Ken's breath was short and shallow, and he felt sick with nerves. They came to the door. The doctor stopped and turned to him. "He is awake and responsive," he told Ken. "I'll leave you to it." He walked away. Ken watched him go. He turned back to the door, taking a slow and deep breath to calm his nerves. He raised his hand. Pushing the door open, he entered the room. Mustang turned his head slowly towards Ken as he stepped forwards. A slow smile spread across his face as Ken approached. Mustang was in a small room with only 4 beds, 2 of which were empty, one of which was occupied by a young woman fast asleep. Ken approached and stopped beside Mustang's bed, staring down at him. Mustang looked exhausted, his red hair loose around his shoulders and hanging flat. His skin was pale, and his eyes sunken. "It's good to see you," Mustang whispered feebly. "How do you feel?" Ken drew another slow breath, holding the edge of the bed in a firm grasp. "They said I was dead for 7 minutes," Mustang told him. "They said that if you hadn't been there, that I would be in the morgue by now." "Why?" Ken spoke in a whisper, not trusting his voice. "Why did you—" Mustang blinked slowly. "Ken?" "Why would you put your life at risk like that?" Ken whispered, meeting his gaze at last. "Why would you do that? Why?" Mustang stared at him in shock. "Was it—" Ken began, looking away. "Because of something I said?" "No," Mustang uttered. "It's nothing like that." "Then why?" "I have problems in my life," Mustang told him shortly. "What problems are bad enough to make you put your life at risk like that?" Ken hissed, his voice breaking as he gripped the edge of the bed even harder. "There are people in your life who love you. How could you do that to them?" He wanted to shout at Mustang, wanted to scream at him, but he dared not raise his voice, not here. "I was so scared for you," Ken went on in a hushed voice. "So scared." "I'm sorry." "How could you do that? What if I hadn't been there?" "Ken," Mustang spoke seriously, "you saved my life." He smiled then. "I guess that makes us even." "Please, Mustang, please, promise me you'll never do anything like that again. Ever again. Can you promise me that, Mustang?" Mustang stared at him, eyes wide. For the longest time, he didn't answer. "I'm sorry for what I did to you," Mustang breathed. "Earlier, when... That wasn't me. I would never want to hurt you. I wasn't myself. I'm sorry." "I know," Ken whispered. "I know you would never." Ken leaned forward, pressing his lips to Mustang's. Mustang furrowed his brow, staring at Ken in surprise and uncertainty. Ken leant back, standing straight again and releasing his grip on the bed. He stared at Mustang hard. "Mustang," he said, "I'm glad you're all right." "Where have you been?" Ken pulled back uncertainly. He had only just walked through the door to his home when his mother jumped on him. It was still late. The sun had not risen yet. "You've been out all night!" his mother shrieked at him. "We were so worried!" Ken leant back away from his mother as she towered over him, still standing in the doorway. "I'm sorry," he stammered. I sent you a message." "We didn't know you were going to be out all night." Ken closed the door behind him, keeping his head down and slinking past her. "Don't you walk away from me," his mother glowered, grabbing onto his arm. Ken stopped, turning behind him. He stared at his arm his mother held. "Let go of me," he said levelly. "Where were you?" his mother snarled. Ken glanced up at her, feeling a little nervous by her side, almost feeling the anger radiating from her. "My friend was sick," Ken spoke in a whisper. "He needed me." His mother's expression was set. It was him, wasn't it? Yes. She slapped him. Ken stumbled, caught by surprise. He stared at the wall, eyes wide in shock and disbelief, cheek burning. He couldn't believe what she had just done. His mother had never hit him before. Never. Not even when he was young. "What's happening to you?" his mother said, voice breaking. "You're not the son I used to know." Ken was enveloped by a sudden anger, gritting his teeth and turning back to her. "I'm not a child," he snapped. "Stop trying to control me." He left his home, storming out shortly after arriving and ignoring his mother as she called after him. He went away to be alone. Ken sat on the steps of the dark town, the stars shining overhead. The shops here were built in a circle around a fountain. It would normally be spewing water, but for some reason tonight, the pool was still. As Ken stared at it, he found it strangely unsettling. "What's happening to me?" he wondered miserably to himself. "Why is this happening?" He stared at his own hands, clasping them together slowly. "Why is this happening?" "Hey, Ken!" a voice called out to him then. Ken was suddenly snapped out of his thoughts. Straightening, he saw 3 of his friends waving at him from a distance, standing on the other side of the fountain. They made their way towards him, moving in the light cast down from the street lamps. "It is you," Anthony called as he approached. "What are you doing out here? Do you want to hang out?" Ken rose to his feet, straightening. "What are you doing out so late?" Ken asked them. "Drinking and having fun," Neil smirked. "Hey man," Chris said. "Are you all right?" "Yeah," Ken smiled awkwardly. "I'm fine." The next day, Ken rang Alyssa on his mobile. She picked up after only a few rings and was energetic and bubbly on the phone, the same as ever, happy to hear his voice. "Alyssa," Ken spoke flatly, "I need to speak to you. There is something I need to talk about." He waited for her in a quiet part of the town, heart hammering in his chest and palms sweating in his pockets. He let out a deep and steady sigh, his breath fogging in the air before him. It was very cold today. "Ken!" His heart clenched in his chest as he turned to face Alyssa, rising from the bench as she skipped up to him. "Ken, it's so great to see you!" His stomach sunk as she hugged him. He grasped her by the shoulders lightly, pushing her back gently. "What's wrong?" she asked worriedly now. "Alyssa," he told her flatly, "I need to speak to you." "About what?" she said, concern in her voice. "Why are you so serious? Is something wrong?" "I don't want to be with you anymore," Ken said.